Kind of fast, kind of not. Either way, always running or talking about it. Welcome to the Kind of Fast podcast, powered by Upward Running. Let's get into it.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Kind of Fast podcast, where we talk running, real life, and a little bit of everything in between.
Yep, whether you are a beginner runner training for your very first 5K, or you're a fun runner chasing down your next big PR, this podcast is for you. Only fun runners, though. Got to note that. Only fun runners. Here we share stories, training tips, and plenty of laughs along the way.
As always, we're going to kick it off with our segment, What Does That Even Mean? And we're going to talk about KT tape. Spoiler alert, I love it, and I am kind of interested to hear your take on it.
Yeah, we'll give that because it might fall in line with some of the other things that is out there for runners to take our money. But anyway, we'll get into some news after that. We got some wild stories like news about David Goggins, who's someone that I've read 2 of his books and have followed along the way. And so he ran a race recently. We'll give you the updates on that. We've got cross-country runners running through a blizzard. And we've got Kylie Mance actually crushing a marathon in her debut with Connor along the way. Connor Mance, a name that we have talked about many times here on the podcast. So we'll give you an update on Kylie. I thought that was an interesting story, and I sent that over this week.
You were on a roll with the news.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure all of our news stories came from you this week.
Yeah.
But
it's one where we don't have any big marathons to talk about, or there's no track races going on, but they were like, ooh, I bet people would be interested in that.
Yep. I am glad you sent that one. We are also going to talk about a listener question from Tanya. Shout out, Tanya. I love when you send stuff in, which is actually one of Travis's friends. Fun fact.
Yep. We grew up together as far as high school and college. Haven't seen much of her, since we started having families and that kind of thing. But she's reconnected through the podcast and has liked what we've been putting together and had a good question for us. All right. And in our deep dive, we're taking it back to my marathon training cycle and talking about bad workouts and how they don't define your race. In fact, they might not even be a great indicator of what you're going to do in the race. And I think a lot of people will have some encouragement coming from that.
All right, you hear the drum roll, which means it's time for another round of What Does That Even Mean? And today's word is one that you'll see everywhere at big race expos, KT tape. And KT tape is also known as what, Travis?
Kinesiology tape.
Kinesiology tape. People swear by it. People misuse it. Some people tape literally everything on their body. But sometimes that's not how you do it. So, Travis, let's break it down. What does KT tape actually do? Because runners act like it's duct tape holding their body together sometimes.
Yeah, it's a big myth. KT tape does not support a joint in the way that a brace does. It's not really holding anything in place. What it does is give the skin a little lift, which increases blood flow and helps with inflammation and lymphatic drainage. It also gives your brain feedback, basically telling you that this area is something's going on here, and kind of gives you a little bit more awareness to have your muscles or your body move in a certain way.
Right. So it's not reinforcement. It's more of awareness. I personally love KT tape. What do you think about it?
I understand the concept of it, and but I don't know that I've ever felt like a major difference with it on. Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
Literally all of the time, especially in like peak training season. I have been known to tape literally everything I can tape. Usually it's my shin, my knee, sometimes my Achilles. It's whatever it is. I just look up YouTube videos online and I have my roll of KT tape and I tape myself up. It works. It really does work. And it might be one of those like placebo effect situations, but I mean, it's helped my soreness for sure.
Yeah, my chiropractor will use it sometimes with separated my shoulder a long time ago and it gets out of whack from time to time. And so she'll tape it up and I'll leave it on for a few days. And then I even have videotaped her putting on that so that I know how to put it on again if I want to do it later. And then I never do. But, I understand the concept behind it.
There's certain tricks you have to do too. So you can warm up the tape by like rubbing it together with your hands. That helps make it stickier. And there's also, fun fact, different types of tape. So there's really sticky tape. There's not a sticky tape. I'm telling you, you could go. I mean, I could go on a rabbit trail down this subject.
And sounds like we are open to sponsorships by KT Tape. Claire Boyce could be your next big influencer here because she is completely balled in.
Oh, 100%. And there's fun colors. You can match your outfit. I mean, sold. Take my money.
Oh, now we've got to the real root of it here. Yes. It's about the look and the feel of it all. It's not, is it really about fixing anything?
Well, it's not meant to fix things. Like, that's not the purpose of it. The purpose is to reduce inflammation and kind of tell your body, hey, something's going on here. And there's right and wrong ways that people use it. And it sounds like you might have experience using it the wrong way.
Maybe. There's some things I'll buy into and I'll spend the extra money on. This is
not yet.
Not yet.
There's still time, Travis. There's still time.
And if it was ever an injured runner in the past that maybe should have tried something else, maybe that's what I could have done in the past to avoid the next big injury. Who knows?
Maybe so. If you guys use KT tape, let us know. I'm kind of interested to hear your take on it. Do you think it works? Do you think it doesn't work? I want to know.
Put this in the same category as the nose things we talked about a few weeks ago.
I was just thinking that. Now, I cannot get on board with that, but KT tape, yes.
Another expensive Band-Aid.
Okay, let's move on to the news section, and we're going to kick it off with a story that I actually found. I think the rest came from you, Travis, but David Goggins. Yeah, the man who literally seems like he is capable of anything. He dropped out early from a race this past week. It was called the Across Florida 200, which 200-mile race, and he dropped out.
Yeah, tell the listeners, at what point in time did he drop out of this 200-mile run?
40 miles in.
Okay.
Like not even halfway through.
That's you're not even a quarter of the way.
No.
Right.
No. So apparently, I was reading some of the Reddit boards and they were tracking him. He went through an aid station and then all of a sudden just stopped moving. And I think this was his third 200-mile race in like 3 months.
Yeah. So he's still ultra fit. It wasn't a fitness thing. Something went wrong and he wasn't able to finish.
Yep, exactly. But I have to say, like, this man built an entire brand on like running through pain, not stopping, not quitting. So if David Goggins quits a race, I mean, that's saying something.
Yeah, I think everybody has bad days. And especially if you're putting together multiple really big efforts. For him, really big efforts are like 200-mile runs. For you, it might be 8-mile runs, once a week or something. And that can just add up and be too much for the body to handle. And the body goes, not today, not going to be able to finish it. The thing that has always attracted me to David Goggins, his story, is it's the first half of his first book where he goes from a guy who, just had a tough upbringing with a lot of challenges that were not his fault, with family issues and things like that. And he's way overweight and he has no goals or really direction in his life. And he decides he wants to be a Navy SEAL one day. And the guy at the recruiter's office is just like, look at you, there's no way. And so he spent the next few months, seems like it was 90 days or something, losing 100 pounds, working out basically every minute of the day he was awake. And when he wasn't working out, he was studying for this test he had to pass to be able to get into the SEALs there. And either one of those would have been impossible. Like where he was coming from as far as a knowledge base to get into to pass that test, he was miles away from that. And he passed it on the nose. I hope I'm not giving it away if you're about to read the book, but he passes it on the nose, exactly the score that he needs, the lowest score he could have to get in. And he was able to lose that 100 pounds in the same process. And he didn't get hurt or injured in a way that he couldn't continue on. For me, And this is really interesting as we kind of finish up the 2025 year and we move into 2026. And there's going to be so many people that start the new year that go, I want to do something I've never done before. I want to achieve something I've never done before. I want to change my body completely, achieve a goal that I've always wanted to do, but I've never been able to do it. The most interesting part of his story for me is him changing his circumstances completely and finishing that part of it. He goes on to do amazing things with the SEALs and the Rangers and becomes an ultra marathoner that a lot of people only know it for that part. And that stuff is interesting, but not nearly as interesting as overcoming all those challenges originally.
Man, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, podcast over. Like, time to go home. That was great.
Yeah. That's what I like David for. And I think a lot of people like him for different reasons, but I can just take a lot of inspiration from that moment. And other people can take inspiration from other parts of his story, but that's the part for me.
Well, bottom line here is if David Goggins can drop out of a race at 40 miles, like, it's okay to have a bad race.
That's a great point there. And I should also note that if you know nothing about David Goggins and through that little note there from me, you're looking to read a book or listen to his book or watch a podcast he's in, very foul language. So buyer beware on that. I know we are here to support Upward Running, which is a faith-based organization, and we say where faith and fitness meet. And I don't know where David is in his spiritual life personally, but you're going to experience a lot of bad language if you go through that. If that doesn't bother you or you can overlook that, it is an interesting story there.
So consider yourself warned.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, moving gears a little bit. Let's talk about the Winter Olympics situation because you and I have a little bit of maybe differing opinions on this one. Mm-hmm. We're going to find out. So The Winter Olympics basically said no thank you to adding cross country to the 2030 games in the French Alps.
Yeah, I hadn't, before you put this together, I did not know that there had been an official decision yet. So what did they say about that?
Yeah, I mean, they shut it down real fast. There's been a really big push led by Sebastian Coe at the World Athletics to add cross country to the Winter Olympics. And they said, no, absolutely not.
And for me, it made sense because, cross country is ran basically across any terrain. It's ran, I think of it as a late fall, early winter type of race where you can have bad conditions or cold days or, rain and mud and, things like that. I think that's all kind of a part of it. I think it fits within what we think of as the Winter Olympics. But what was their official stance on it?
Yeah, they said absolutely not. If it's not practiced on snow or ice, it's not a Winter Olympic sport, which, I mean, okay, but race directors literally make their athletes run through and compete in anything. Snow, check. Sleet, check. Rain, check. Mud up to your chins, like the video we saw a few weeks ago. Check. It doesn't matter what the weather conditions are. Minus lightning, that's a different story. But the race directors will make you run through it. So why can't these athletes run through snow and ice?
Yep. I would have had that opinion before their official response. And I think it's a good response. If it's not practiced on snow or ice, it's not a Winter Olympic sport. You got to go by principles, and their principle is that's where we start. And if it's not done on that, then you're out. And so I'm kind of with them.
Okay, but what about the video you just sent me? It was a cross-country race, and these women were literally running through a snowstorm. Like, it was so snowy that I thought the exposure was just, like, jacked up. But no, it was snow. You could barely see them because it was snowing so hard.
Yeah, I think that was a wild video. Just imagine everything completely covered in white, no spectators, at least in the video we saw. No spectators, and then straight on blizzard in the moment, like just snowing extremely hard, and they're out there running, like you said, in their shorts, which I would just guess that was the team uniform, and so you wear it when it's early September, and you wear it when it's snowing, and you can bundle up kind of afterwards.
Very true. Okay, let's reel it back a little bit. Bottom line, do you think cross country deserves a spot in the Winter Olympics?
No, but let's shift gears to the Summer Olympics. If we're going to have, Michael Phelps winning all these medals in swimming because you do this one this long and this one this long and then this race this long and then let's change the stroke of the swim and then do it at this distance and then this, and you just rack up medal after medal after medal. Can we get one more running race out there where someone could go do the 10,000 meters on the track and then do the 10,000 meters cross country in the same race and same Olympics? I think that'd be fine.
I agree with that. But I do think, why not? Why not have running at the Winter Olympics? Like, just why not? If we could have breakdancing, like, we could have a 5K race.
See, that's such a great point. I'm not even going to debate you on that, on the breakdancing. But I'll just go back to, you got to have principles and you got to live by the principles. And if their principles are, if this sport does not meet the original principle that they go off of, then you can't have it as part of it.
That's true. All right, let's move on to another story that you brought to the table. And we're going to talk about, guess.
This has got to be another fast woman in Utah.
Correct. We're going to talk about Kylie Mance, which is Connor Mance's wife. Fun fact, I had no idea he was even married. I do now.
Yep.
I think everybody does now. She just made her marathon debut in the Two Cities Marathon in Fresno.
Or Fresno, as most of us say. But she ran 2:43.49 in her debut, which, for context, is right around 6:14 pace for 26.2 miles. And so she would have crushed me by 20 minutes, basically.
Fresno?
Yeah, Fresno.
So not Frenzo.
No. Let's keep moving, though. We don't have to keep beating up your...
So I just had to clarify, okay? I just had to clarify. Not only did she beat you, she beat everybody in the race.
Right.
I mean, she literally won the entire race. And her pacer for all of the 26.2 miles was the literal fastest American marathoner right now.
Yeah, Connor, her husband. When you can run the pace that he did to break the American record a few weeks ago, then running 6:14 is just another Saturday for him. Yeah, just go out there and pace her.
I love that you sent this story to me because I went on a really big deep dive on the whole Mance family, actually. And so the Frenzo race was actually a homecoming race for her. So she grew up in Clovis, and I hope I said that word right. And she literally ran on the same roads that she grew up on as a kid.
Yes, I love a great hometown debut.
It was adorable. Her Strava recap was also really fun. She wrote at one point, she said, "I think I'm done. It's too hard." And Connor actually replied to it, and he said, "Stopping is not an option. You can slow down, but you can't stop."
Sounds like a guy that has pushed himself to the limit and beyond many times before and understands that you would just hate yourself even more if you quit. So you just have to figure out a way to finish it.
She did say that at the finish line, her legs gave out.
Yeah. That happens to lots of people out there, and it has happened to you as well, I believe, right?
Yep, twice. Only once really, really bad.
It's something about, like, you know, why does it happen right? It's because your mind has worked so hard to be like, I got to get there, got to get there, got to get there. And as soon as you get there, it's like, all right, we're done.
I'm done supporting you for the day,
That's
buddy. But yeah. This was, again, a really cool story. Her running background makes this whole thing even crazier. So she actually was a runner, but then she quit running in high school. She didn't competitively run again until she married Connor, I think back in 2022. And then just because she wanted to understand his lifestyle better, she started running again. So fast forward, and all of a sudden, she's a walk-on at BYU running 34:57 in the 10K. I mean, what?
Her trying to understand her husband, or I don't know if it was someone that was a boyfriend or fiance at the time. I don't know what point in time that was in their relationship, but trying to understand, like, this guy's out there running all the time. And I think he's pretty fast. And, like, trying to understand that, she starts running, and then suddenly someone had to tell her, like, you've got a lot of talent, because clearly she does, to be able to run, sub 35 in the 10K.
Yeah. I mean, my husband would never. He would never try to go out there and run just to understand. That's crazy.
Well, your husband, he has hobbies.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
so one of his hobbies is deep diving into ancient literature.
I would never.
So I think this would be the equivalent of that for you, to like deep dive into some ancient Christian literature.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. Steven, if you're listening to this, if you want me to pace you in a marathon, let's do it. Like,
I think one thing you said was she's ultimately trying to get an Olympic trials qualifying time,
yeah.
which would mean she'd have to break 2:37. That's 5:58 pace for those keeping track at home. So she's about 16 seconds off per mile at this point in time. But she went for that Olympic trials qualifying pace and just tried to see how long she could hang on in this race, and made it through 18 before she kind of faded back to that 2:43 finishing time there. That's a tough, courageous, bold way to go run a race. Is like, ooh, I am certain I can't run this pace, but let's go see how long I can do it. What do you think?
And her marathon debut. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't just any marathon. This is her marathon debut. For her to go after that goal is just, I mean, really encouraging to me, honestly, because I've got big goals too. Not anywhere near her pace, but I feel confident that she'll make it eventually.
Yeah, I again, bold way of going after it. There are great examples of people in their marathon debuts doing amazing things. So Molly Seidel qualified for the Olympics 2 cycles ago in her marathon debut. And I think Fiona O'Keefe, who won the Olympic trials this last time around, it was her marathon debut at the Olympic trials as well. So if you are properly trained and you have a goal that is within your reach, it is possible to have the day that you were hoping for on your first time out. So there's examples of that.
I mean, great perspective, Travis. I'm really excited to follow her and see what happens in her career. Okay, moving on. Before we get into our deep dive, we have a very special part of the show, listener questions, which is really fun for me. Today's comes from the absolute best person ever, Tanya. Tanya is one of Travis's friends that we mentioned earlier, and she is fantastic. She sent me an email about a recent 10K that she ran, and she said that the Kind of Fast podcast actually inspired her to run it.
Yeah, she's sent a couple messages my way along the way, and has talked about it being encouraging, and that's encouraging to us for sure.
Yep. So let me give you a rundown of the quick version of the email. So Tanya ran a 10K a few weeks ago with her best friend, her friend's very first one. Tanya felt amazing. She felt great, totally ready to go. She had a sub 1 hour goal, but then around mile 4, her friend was really starting to struggle. So Tanya had to decide, do I chase my race goal or do I stay and help my friend finish? So she chose to stay. Tanya encouraged her friend, stayed by her side, and helped her push through the mental fight. And they both did finish strong. Tanya even ended up getting 3rd place in her age division, even staying back with her friend. But after the race, her husband asked, okay, I mean, when are you going to run a race for yourself and see what you can do? And that led to her question of the email. How do you know when it's time to go from party pace to goal pace? So, first of all, Tanya, a huge congratulations. I mean, 3rd place age group, that's something to be really excited for.
Yeah. Also, kudos to her husband for bringing the tough questions there, and trying to get her to see that she's got more that she can give there.
Yes, but also I love the way you did support your friend. I mean, that says so much about your heart. But I mean, Travis is right. The truth is, I mean, there's room in running for both of these goals. There's going to be a season to run with people and to help them and encourage them. But there's also going to be a season that you need to test yourself and chase your own goals. And I mean, you don't have to pick one or the other forever. Like I said, there are seasons for both.
I think that's excellent advice, and I think that's a great way of thinking about it. Like, decide up front, declare what your goal is. Is your goal to help a friend, be encouraging, get someone else to achieve something they might have thought that wasn't possible? It's a very worthy and noble goal to do something like that. But at times you got to go out and see what you can do for yourself as well. And so I would wonder from this, you know, is there anxiety there where you're worried that maybe you can't achieve the things that you've achieved in the past, or you can't achieve the speeds that you've run in the past, or that you just don't know what it feels like to go to the well and really push yourself hard. Is that something that you're worried about? And in doing that, you back off of your own goals and aspirations and go, well, it's also really good for me to help someone else out. And you're holding yourself back from what you can become because you are using your friend as an excuse. That's what I would wonder a little bit here. I don't know enough about the story to make that as like a declaration here. Here's what I do think would be really interesting going into 2026. So, Tanya, here we go. I think you would be the perfect person to be an upward running 5K challenge coach.
Yes.
You are very encouraging to others. You want to see them achieve a fitness goal that they haven't done in the past. You are involved in your church. And so I would say, what if you led an upward 5K challenge at your church and helped a whole group of people, achieve a goal that they didn't imagine that they could do on their own? Those are 12-week programs. Do that, kind of scratch that itch of that part of it where you are trying to help others, and then immediately go from there and like cast them aside and go for a big goal on your own. So like springtime next year, as an example, or whenever you do this, the next season, go after a big goal on your own, set one out there and go see what you can really achieve. Because really what that's going to do, if you go and do this 5K challenge type thing a couple of different times, you'll be able to relate to these people and go, I know what it's like to achieve something hard or to do something courageous and to really push myself. And so I do that in my off seasons as well.
I mean, Coach Travis reporting for duty. You're on a roll today. On a roll today. That is fantastic advice. I could not agree with you more. And Tanya, when you do decide to pick your goal, let us know and we'll help keep you accountable. We'll share it on the podcast so that everybody hears your goal and then you have to stick with it.
Yeah. And if you are really interested in being that 5K challenge coach, upwardrunning.com has all the information there. They'll get you connected to the right person on that. Just throwing that out there. You are, and your email really showed this, a very, very encouraging person to others. And running as well. So that's a perfect type person to lead one of those.
Yep. I could not agree more. All right, listeners, if you are hearing this and you have a question to send us or a race recap, let us know. I mean, we love to talk about you guys on this show. You can email me directly at cboyce@upward.org or visit upwardrunning.com/kindoffast and fill out a form there. All right. It is officially time for our deep dive today, and we're going to talk about something that every runner faces, bad workouts.
In the training plan that I had for this past year, you kind of did a speed workout or some type of tempo workout on a weekly basis, and then you had a long run built in there and that kind of thing. The 3 workouts I'm talking about are what we would call our long run quality workouts. So that's in addition to the speed workout that week, and they're kind of cornerstone workouts of a marathon cycle. And they're ones that I personally put a lot of pressure on myself to kind of perform at and do my best at, because they were hopefully going to be validation that I'm on the right track to go after this big goal of something I've never done before. And you're right. 2 of the 3 did not go as planned. And we'll kind of walk through each one of those and what does that mean for me in this journey, but what can that mean for you if you have a bad workout in the future as well?
Yeah, so let's kind of start at the beginning and set the stage. So what are these 3 big workouts really supposed to tell you, or what were you supposed to get out of these just to see if you could hold on to pace?
Yep. Each one of them would have been 20-mile long runs. And within that, there are some pace work within it. Most of the time, it's like either marathon pace or half marathon pace. We can walk through what each of them were, I think, as we go through it. I think I remember them all. But the idea there is to have your legs feel what it feels like to run that kind of pace on a long run while not completely taxing yourself there. You know, you don't want to run your race before the race is one thing that I've heard coaches say in the past. And so the most mileage that I would do at one of these faster paces would be 9 of the 20 miles at pace would be the max that I would do as part of this, because again, you just don't want to burn yourself out and kind of run your race too early on that. But the goal is to feel the pace and also to learn to recover at pace as well. So, because in the marathon specifically, you 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 are going to be pushing up against your lactic threshold that whole time. That is a very technical term to say once you dive into that and you start making too much lactate in your muscles, it becomes your downward spiral really is going to start at that point in time, and you're going to have a hard time holding pace. And so what you want to do is figure out what's that pace that I can continue on, still running as fast as possible, but not pushing my body beyond a place where there's no coming back from it. So that's the idea behind these 3 workouts.
All right, workout number 1. This was on August 9th, which is also peak of the summer heat. So you're brave for that one. This one seemed to go really well for you, according to Strava, that I did a deep dive on. You ran 22 miles at an 8:42 pace, and this is what you had to say about it. 2 miles longer than expected. But let me explain. This run included 4 by 2 miles at marathon goal pace with a half mile easy in between each of those. Going north, it was slightly uphill. I wanted to see where I'd be if the last set wasn't coming back down the hill. I did it completely fair on the flat Furman track, so I was farther away from the car than planned. Even with that, I had to walk back some because I knew not to go over 22. So this one went well.
Yeah, this one completely to plan. You know, ran those 4 by 2 miles at marathon goal pace that time. And so basically there's a bike path running trail in Greenville County in South Carolina that runs north and south. And so as you're running north, it is slightly uphill, you know, that whole way. And what what I was trying to say here in my notes is, yes, I ran 2 miles longer than planned, but it's because I didn't want to do 3 of those 2 mile segments and then turn around and run downhill for the last segment and like have myself feeling, well, look how fast I ran or how easy it was on my last set or something like that. I wanted it to be fair. I didn't want to continue to move further away from the car. So I did stop at Furman University, which is in northern Greenville County, and run that last set on the track there, those 2 miles on the track, which kept me from going further away from the car, kind of kept me where I was at, and then I could run back towards Greenville City at that point. And so, yes, I did go 2 miles longer, but honestly, it would have been like 4 miles longer to make it all the way back to the car. So I just walked those last 2 miles, kind of kick-started recovery really with that is what happened there. But I knew that it would not be smart to continue to run at that point. But all that to say is I was trying to make sure that I wasn't basically cheating the run by running back downhill that last set.
I mean, I don't know if I would have done the same thing. I think I might would have run down the hill.
And that'd been fine. But for me at that point, I wanted it to be fair.
Did you decide that calling an Uber was a bad idea if you kept going straight?
Well, remember it's August 9th. And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like, you know, I think an Uber would pull up and go, nah, dog, you're too sweaty. You're not getting in my car. I don't think that was really a possibility for me.
All right. Well, workout number 1. It went well. Did you feel confident after?
I felt tired, but accomplished. That's
Okay.
what I would say.
Okay. So let's talk about workout number 2. This one was on Labor Day weekend on September 4th. This was in Ohio, actually, which was where you did your marathon. So it was kind of like a course preview, right?
Yeah. So it was right after Labor Day weekend. So there was a Church of the Nazarene conference in Columbus. I oversee marketing as part of my role here at Upward. And when I heard we were going to go to a conference in Columbus, I don't normally go to these conferences. I was like, ooh, I'll go to that one, knowing that maybe I could do a little bit of the course preview while I was there for a couple of days. And so decided that I was going to run this workout around the Ohio State football stadium. They call it the shoe there. And so I was doing circles around that. I was kind of hoping that, much like the Israelites, it would fall down if I kept running around it. It never did. But, as a Clemson fan, that was the hope that day.
Well, your Strava said that you ran 18.27 miles at an 8:47 pace. And your comment was that great weather, but not fully what you had planned or what you wanted. I mean, that's all I have on that tonight. And then you stopped. Like, you didn't go back and edit. You didn't edit your next run. What happened?
Yeah, I was very frustrated by it because I had hoped for, hoped it was like much cooler weather than it was, say, for the first long run quality that we just talked about. It was much flatter than, the first one as well, or even most of my runs around where I live. And so I just had high expectations that I was going to crush it. But in the end, I was in a different city. I had been on my feet much of the day at that conference as well. I hadn't slept well in the hotel the night before. All these are excuses. I get it. And so it just didn't go to the plan. So here was the plan for the workout. It was supposed to be 20 total miles with 4 sets of 20 minutes of running in that. Those 20 minutes were to be done with 5 minutes at half marathon pace, immediately into 10 minutes at marathon pace, and then 5 more minutes at half marathon pace. And then I would get 5 minutes nice and easy in between each of those 4 sets. And so basically the first one went to plan, did it as I was supposed to. The second one, the first 2 segments of that, the half marathon pace, then the marathon pace went to plan. And then I couldn't get the pace back down to half marathon pace. My legs would not turn over fast enough. So I just kind of held marathon pace, which I said in the moment, all right, this isn't going to be a perfect run, but maybe I can just hold marathon pace for these last 2 sets. And I started the third set and I got a third of the way through and I was just like, I'm cooked. I'm done. And called it halfway through the third set, didn't even touch the fourth set there. So it just ended up being a course preview kind of run from there as I made my way back to the car. So legit did basically half the workout.
So what did this do for your confidence?
It shook my confidence for sure. And so I talked to several people around me that knew what I was doing from a training standpoint and where I was with the training plan. And they, did a good job of talking me off the ledge. They just said, hey, you had a lot of other factors. You were in a different city. You were on your feet all day. And hey, not every run is going to go to plan. And so don't sweat it. It's one run. And so I fully expected the third one to go to plan and for my confidence to be restored. But as you'll see, that was not the case.
Okay, so that's a great segue to talk about the third key workout. The third quality workout was on September 27th. It was a 20-miler, and this is what you had to say. Didn't go as planned. Didn't finish the quality part of my workout. In my raw 30 minutes after reaction, I'd say, 1, thank you, Jesus, for letting me get to taper healthy. A rarity for me. 2, I never had any pep in my step today. Still, I felt confident until I was cooked. Number 3, I'm not sure what this means for race strategy here in 3 weeks. I tend to think right now it will be a feel the race and the moment strategy, and I can handle that. 4, while this was the last big workout, I'm not going to overreact. It's been a solid build overall. Okay, let's break that down a little bit.
Yeah. So let's talk about the workout itself. It was supposed to be 20 miles, 9 miles easy to start. Then 4 miles at marathon pace plus 20 seconds. So for me, that was like 7:20 or 7:25 pace. Immediately into 3 miles at marathon pace, so between 7 and 7:05 for me. And then it was to be immediately, my last 2 miles there would be marathon pace minus 20 seconds. So looking at like 6:40 to 6:45 pace would have been the goal there. And then to finish with a 2-mile cool down. And so basically my first 4 miles at, the 7:20 to 25 pace went as planned. Then the next 3 miles at marathon pace, supposed to be holding between 7 and 7:05, 7:03 the first mile, then 7:11 the second mile, then 7:16 for the third, and and I was working. And so that last mile, even to get the finish that final third mile, I had already told myself, just finish this segment. There's no chance you can like pinch the pace down even more. So just see if you can finish this. And then I ended up not doing those last 2 miles as part of it. Well, I ran them, just not fast like we were hoping to do here. So I was I was frustrated for sure, but on this day specifically, it was another warm South Carolina day, and I probably picked too hilly of a course. Like there was a segment in one of those quicker miles that was a full mile with a slight hill the whole time, and so I was cooked again. So now this is the second of three of the big workouts that has not gone to plan. This is like dress rehearsal day too. This is like in my racing shoes, my singlet, my shorts, the socks I'm gonna wear. I'm taking gels that I'm gonna take during the race. I'm trying to do that at pace. A lot of times you take these gels and you're running much slower. It's a little bit different when you're like breathing hard and like running hard. And so this was dress rehearsal day, and it still didn't go to plan.
How you said yourself, I'm not going to overreact. How did you not overreact?
So I think in the end, and this is the teachings I think that I can try to pass on to the rest of the team here. Your your fitness comes from all the work you have done over time leading to the race. There is not one single workout that's going to define or set you up for great success or for failure in the race. One workout really doesn't matter that much. Um, it's about the whole amount of work that you've done. And that's not even this season. It is the years that you've put in ahead of this if you've been running a long time. So for me, it's all the work that I've done since 2018 that mattered in Columbus. It was not just this season or any specific workouts that we did this. It was a culmination of all those different things. And so I like to say one workout won't make you and it won't break you unless you get hurt. And so I've had those days where I have been hurt and it has broke me. And I feel like I've learned over time that I've had some really great, phenomenal, like surprising races on workouts and training that you wouldn't expect. And so the greatest example of this, I probably told this story already on the podcast before, but I had knee surgery in May of 2023. I ran nothing but zone 2 training from the time I was able to start back running in late August until the time I ran a half marathon in February of the next year. I did no track workouts, no tempo workouts, no hard workouts until then. And so in that half marathon, I thought, all right, I'm going to see what I can do and I'll build my training paces off of this. And I ran that first mile about 30 seconds faster than I had planned. And I said, all right, I need to back this thing off. But I felt pretty good. The weather was great. I was cruising along. And that second mile, I looked down, I hit the same pace again. I was like, oh, all right, big boy, let's see what you can do, right? Like, let's see if you can hold this pace. If you can run it for 2, can you hold it for 11 more? And dang if I didn't, And I ran a huge PR. I'd lowered my half marathon PR from 131 something to 127 something in that race without a single track workout. And that taught me so much. What it taught me was no single workout, no hard, fast workout really matters all that much. It's about all that work that you've put in. And so much of your fitness can come from just nice and easy runs along the way. Now, I have an advantage that if you're just starting off today for the first time, that a lot of you don't. And it's that I've run a lot of hard races. I know what it feels like to like be in a mode where I'm running hard and I'm trying to get the most out of myself. And I know that I won't blow up, at the end because I've done enough of it in the past. So I can kind of draw on that in those situations. But it's that training win that really taught me that, again, no single workout will really make or break you.
Man, you're on fire today. On fire. So let's walk back a little bit. Workout number 1, check mark.
Good. Yep. Got it.
Workout number 2, X.
Yep.
Workout number 3, another X.
In both cases, I ran the mileage, basically requested, just not the quality work wasn't done in the middle as expected. Yeah.
But then your actual race day comes and you get your goal. And that's with 2 quote unquote failed workouts.
Correct. Yep. Big day at the Columbus Marathon.
I mean, that's crazy. So you ran 26.2 miles. Well, technically a little over, but 26.2 miles at a 7:07 pace, and your time was at 3:07.
Yep.
And you got your BQ.
Very proud of that, for sure.
Oh, we're all proud. We're all proud. So with this in mind, what is a piece of advice that you would give our listeners who might not have a running background, who has experienced failed workout?
Yeah, don't overreact, I would say, is the thing. Move on to the next workout. Do the best you can in it. Check all the boxes. Be consistent. That's what consistency matters way more than any one given workout. So if you're running, say, 3 days a week or 4 days a week or 5 or 6 days a week, whatever it is for you, make sure you're doing that on a weekly basis. That matters so much more than the one workout on the 1 week at a certain time, even if it's your dress rehearsal kind of workout. Stay consistent. Check all the boxes as far as the days that you're supposed to do it. But if some of those days don't go exactly to plan, okay. What matters is consistency and putting mileage in over time.
And you wouldn't suggest making up a workout that went wrong, would you?
No. Move on. Keep on track. Whoever's put that training plan together for you has thought through these things and is going to take you through different phases, like we've talked about on the podcast, of workouts. And so you don't want to go back and do one you didn't do as well in the past, because that might not be the right stimulus you need for that point in time in the plan. And even if you're thinking about trying to do it within the same week, like, hey, it didn't go well on Tuesday, maybe I'll try it on Thursday. I'd say no, stick to the plan. Just do the next workout on the plan to the best of your ability, as prescribed on there, and nothing more, nothing less than what it's asking you to do.
Great advice. Fantastic advice. Speaking of plans, what are you planning to run this week?
Yeah, just a normal kind of slowly working myself back into training kind of week. I do think I might add a quality session for the first time post-marathon. I've completed 4 weeks since the marathon at this point. And so most of the rule of thumbs would say that I'm okay to add a little bit back. I'll say, man, yesterday I ran 10 miles, 2.5 minutes per mile slower than I did at the marathon a month ago, and was tired and sore afterwards. So it's like, it can go so quickly, but I'm fine. I think it's great to reset, get back to some base training, try to get the mind right for new training in the new year. And that's just where I'm at. I'm going to probably run 30-ish miles this week. There's not a single thing I have to do this week, but I'm just trying to get consistent again is what I'm trying to think about there. How about you?
Yeah, I am on week 2 of the Upward Running maintenance plan. This week I have 20 miles, 22 miles. So again, nothing super crazy until the new year, but I did map out my 2026 running year.
Oh,
yeah.
You want to tell it here? Or you want to hold that for another episode?
Oh, we're going to hold it. So stay tuned and come back for more next week. And with that, our time is up. Don't forget that this podcast is powered by Upward Running, a community built to help you run with purpose, stay motivated, and find your people. As always, this journey is more than miles. God is in every step. The good runs, the bad runs, the tough runs. It matters to Him. He is with you, He is for you, and He is using this season to grow something deeper inside of you.
At Upward Running, this is where faith and fitness meet, and we'd love to run with you. You can join us at upwardrunning.com/kindofast. That's upwardrunning.com/kindofast. And if you use the code kindofast, you get 2 weeks free, and we get to know that you signed up through the podcast there, which is always really cool for us to see. So if your name is Tom or Sarah, I'm talking specifically to you here. If you'll give us a rating or a review this week, we'd really appreciate it. Tom and Sarah, we're counting on you.
All right. Shout out Tom and Sarah.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week.
So yeah.
Who's Tom?
Oh.
You should just random names. I love it.
All right, let's deep dive into this. Let's not deep dive.
I don't want to dive shallow. Kinesiology tape. Whew, that was a hard word. Kinesiology tape.
Also, I think it's kinesiology tape. Just for what it's worth.
Oh man. Okay, kinesiology.
No, kinesiology.
Kinesiology.